type thing happening there. From here we're going to slip stitch into that first chain 1 space. In between we've got 2 double crochets, a chain 1, 2 double crochets. We're going to slip stitch into that chain 1 space and chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're now working on our 4th row. We're going to do 6 double crochets now into that same space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our first petal. Now chain 3 acts as our first double crochet. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 stitches in total. Now we're going to skip 4 double crochets and we're going to do 7 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're repeating the same all the way around again. 1, 2, 3, 4, skipping 4 double crochets, working 7 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. We do this 8 times in total. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doing it, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, into the chain 1 space, 7 double crochets. Now you can use whatever hook or yarn you prefer. The mathematics on this motif is designed so that you can change the size of the motif to whatever you prefer. My motifs tend to be quite small. They're approximately 4.5 inches wide with a border. If you'd like them bigger, just use a larger hook and some heavier weight yarn. Don't forget to come and find the pattern on Facebook. It's in the 8 Petaled African Flower album. Or you can also find it on Ravelry as a free download. Just look for the crochet case, all one word. Or click on the link below the video. One, 6, 7, on to the last one now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now once you've got your 8 petals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're going to again slip stitch into the top of our 3rd chain at the beginning of the row. And because we're changing colour for the last round, we're going to just chain 1, snip the yarn, and there we have our first 4 rows. And I'm going to start on the opposite side again. Into the 1, 2, 3, 4th double crochet of any petal, I'm going to slip stitch and chain 1 to join the new colour. Then we'll single crochet into the next 3 stitches. Again, I'll be working over my yarn so that I don't have to weave in ends later on. Single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and our first spike stitch is a single crochet worked into our 3rd row, which is this row here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. We're working in between the space of the petals. So we'll have 2 double crochets on either side of our hook into that space. Pull up the yarn, so it's a single crochet with the yarn stretched up to the same height as the other single crochets, and then yarn over and pull through both loops. Then we're going to single crochet over the next 7 stitches, which is our over the top of our petal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we're going to do a spike stitch into the space between our 2 double crochets on our 2nd row, so into this space here. There we go. And we're going to pull up the yarn up to the same height, yarn over, oops, up to the same height, yarn over, and pull it through. So we're going to alternate these spike stitches all the way around, so you'll have a short spike stitch and a long spike stitch on the next space. You can of course alter that to have long spike stitches all the way around, or short spike stitches all the way around if you like. That's okay. We're single crocheting over the top of our petal. So there'll be 7 single crochets. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, short spike stitch into our 3rd row, into this space here in between our petals, and 7 double crochets, single crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Long spike stitch, so we'll be taking our yarn, taking a hook down into our, in between our 2 double crochets, not into the space where we worked our 5 cluster, but in between that, the 2 double crochets. Pulling up our yarn to the same height, yarn over and through, and then we'll go 7 double crochets again over the top of our petals. 4, 5, 6, 7. Short spike stitch into this space. And again, doing a single crochet for each stitch of the petal. Go single crochet into the next 7 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 7, almost there. Long spike stitch, can you see that there? Going into the space between 2 double crochets, and there we go. So spike stitch is simply a single crochet that has been elongated by pulling the yarn up to the same height as the rest of your stitches in a row. It's very simple. Looks a little scary. First time I saw it, I thought, how do they do that? Once you get the hang of it, it's quite fun. And a short spike stitch. So there we go. One, 2, 7 single crochets over the top of the petal. 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last one is a long spike stitch. We single crochet into the last 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and we finish off by slip stitching into our first chain 1, and then chain to finish off. Trim your yarn, and there you have it. Now, the worst thing that you would need to do is just to trim your ends, because you've worked over all of them, and just trim what you have there very carefully. Make sure you don't trim any of the stitches. I've done that once or twice, which can be quite horrendous. And there we go, nice and tidy at the back, nice and tidy at the front. And you'll end up working over this end when you put a border on. If you're not putting on the border and you're going to join your motifs as you go, which I will show you how to do in a subsequent video, then you will need to leave your tails just a little bit longer. This one's only about 10 centimeters. Leave them a little bit longer than that, and then weave them in later on. And that's not a big deal. Okay, enjoy playing with the African flower.